Good morning, my fellow independent, liberty-minded, freedom-loving patriots. You know, the democratic, socialistic, major propaganda outlets have just about completely depersoned President Trump. They've literally turned him into he who must not be named. Yeah, you won't see him in the headlines anymore. You only see him in these smaller, flea-bitten rags, the fake news outlets that, well, they have to mention him to try to get some views because, well, he's still eminently newsworthy. Let's start with Salon. Where is Trump? Former president notably absent from 9/11 events. Where is Trump? Well, they couldn't find him. I have, and I'll tell you where I found him later. Let's take a look at this 9/11 photograph that they show later in the article. As you can see, 3 Democratic presidents. 2 of them have the common sense to be looking down on the ground, trying to look solemn for the photograph that's being taken. But the current president, Uncle Joe, he can't follow simple directions. He's staring straight at the camera. What a joke that man is. Notice how they're all wearing these black masks to show solemnity, but they're cloth masks. And if you know, cloth masks don't do a thing to stop COVID. Now, that is supposedly why they are wearing those masks, isn't it? To stop the spread. However, every single member in that picture wearing those masks, they've gotten President Trump's Wuhan flu shots. Uncle Joe got his even before he assumed the position. Now, thanks to President Trump, there really isn't any reason for these fools to be wearing their masks. Virtue signaling is strong with this crowd, though. Let's go on to the second news story. This from HuffPo. Trump congratulates Rudy Giuliani for the 20th time on 9/11 anniversary. And in case you didn't get the headline, it goes on. President Trump will spend the 20th anniversary of the September 11 attacks at a casino boxing match in Florida. Well, that's certainly where he spent part of his night, but before that, he was in New York. He was in his former home where he was born and raised. He was there to honor the heroes of 9/11. Fortunately, there's C-SPAN because I couldn't find a single major news outlet that covered this story. While Uncle Joe spent a few minutes in a photo op, President Trump, we know, spent at least a half an hour in 2 different locations in New York City. Now, I'm not going to play the video, but this video goes on for 32 minutes, about 15 minutes in this police station in New York City, and about 15 minutes in a fire station in New York City. And you notice the difference between this picture and the picture of cowards that we saw from Salon? Well, of course. He's smiling, he's happy. The people around him are smiling and happy. Oh, and they're not wearing masks too because, well, they've all gotten their shots, haven't they? There's no need to wear a mask if you've gotten your shots. President Trump was not afraid to meet and greet. He took questions. And he made some very strong comments. One of the comments he made was, "We won the election, but what you gonna do?" He, he said it smiling and laughing. He realized that he was robbed from the election, but there was nothing he could do about it currently. He also made some statements about why he was in New York. He stated that we love the blue. And when he was in the fire station, fire the bravest people. And 9/11, of course, brought in the 20 years of agony that we had in Afghanistan. Now, if Uncle Joe could have just followed President Trump's plan, we could have been out of there without, well, what President Trump says. Uncle Joe turned victory into a total embarrassment. Yeah, that is hyperbole. We weren't going to ever be victorious in Afghanistan, but we would have at least gotten out of there without embarrassment if Uncle Joe could have only simply followed the program that President Trump put down for getting out of Afghanistan. President Trump was right. The election was rigged, but you don't see him solemn and bitter. You see him doing what he always does when he loses a round. He gets back up. He continues the fight. Now, one of the last things he says in this 32-minute video is, "I love you." I think he was talking to the entire American public. Don't you?